Randolph Scott was born George Randolph Scott on January 23, 1898 in Orange County, Virginia. Raised in a large, well-respected Southern family, Scott's upbringing was marked by discipline, integrity, and a strong sense of honor. His father, George Grant Scott, was a successful textile executive, while his mother, Lucille Crane Scott, instilled a sense of gentility and refinement in her children. Randolph was the second of 7 children, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he developed a quiet confidence and moral uprightness, educated at private schools, and later attending the Georgia Institute of Technology and the University of North Carolina. Scott initially aimed to follow in his father's footsteps into business or engineering. However, fate and the allure of Hollywood changed his path forever. A new beginning in Hollywood, after serving with distinction as an artillery officer in World War I, Randolph Scott returned to civilian life with a new sense of purpose. In the 1920s, he visited California and became captivated by the burgeoning film industry. With his tall, athletic build, striking features, and Southern charm, he quickly caught the attention of casting directors. Scott's early years in Hollywood were humble. He worked as an extra and a stuntman before landing small speaking roles. His persistence, combined with his grounded nature, made him stand out from many of his peers. By the late 1920s, he had settled into Hollywood, where his deep, resonant voice made him a commanding presence in the emerging world of talking pictures. The rise of a Western legend. Throughout the 1930s and 1940s, Randolph Scott's career flourished as he became a prominent figure in Hollywood. His roles spanned various genres, but it was his work in Westerns that solidified his status as an icon. Films like The Last of the Mohicans, 1936, Western Union, 1941, and The Desperado, 1943, established him as the quintessential Western hero. Scott's characters embodied honor, moral fortitude, and courage in the face of adversity, qualities that mirrored his real-life demeanor. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Scott avoided the temptations of celebrity excess, remaining humble and dedicated to his craft. His professionalism and integrity made him a beloved figure both on and off the screen. The art of the Western. Randolph Scott's masterpieces. In the 1950s, Scott's collaboration with director Bud Buttigieg led to the creation of some of the finest Westerns ever made. Films like 7 Men from Now, 1956, Ride Lonesome, 1959, and Comanche Station, 1960, are now regarded as masterpieces of the genre. These films portrayed Scott as a man of action, often haunted by past regrets, yet always guided by a steadfast moral compass. Scott's portrayal of complex, introspective heroes became a hallmark of his career, offering audiences more than just the typical cowboy shootouts. His roles often explored themes of redemption, loyalty, and self-sacrifice, setting his work apart from the more conventional portrayals of the American West. A graceful exit. The final years of Randolph Scott's career. Randolph Scott's last film appearance came in Ride the High Country, 1962, directed by Sam Peckinpah. In this film, Scott portrayed an aging lawman struggling to maintain his principles in a rapidly changing world, a role that reflected his own graceful departure from the Hollywood scene. After his final film, Scott chose to retire at the peak of his career, leaving the screen on his own terms. He turned his attention to real estate and business ventures, becoming one of the wealthiest actors of his era. Despite his financial success, Scott remained grounded, placing more importance on his family and faith than on his Hollywood fame. His retirement years were marked by a quiet dignity that reflected the characters he portrayed on screen. A life of quiet stability. Randolph Scott's romantic life was marked by two very different marriages, each revealing different aspects of his character. In 1936, Scott married heiress Marion DuPont, a woman from a prestigious and wealthy family. Marion was the daughter of William DuPont Sr., a member of the powerful DuPont family, and she owned Montpelier, the historic Virginia estate once home to President James Madison. Although their marriage was socially strategic, it was clear that Scott and Marianne shared a deep connection, even if their lifestyles were quite different. Unfortunately, their marriage ended in divorce in 1939 after just 3 years, though they remained on good terms. Marion continued to use the name Marion DuPont Scott for the rest of her life, indicating a mutual respect between the two. A second chance at happiness. Marriage to Patricia Stillman. After several years of bachelorhood, Randolph Scott found lasting happiness in his second marriage to Patricia Stillman in 1944. Patricia, an actress 21 years younger than Scott, appeared in films during the early 1940s but chose to focus on family life after their marriage. This relationship stood in stark contrast to his first marriage, which had been more about social status. Scott and Patricia's marriage was based on genuine affection and shared values, and they settled into a peaceful domestic life. In 1950, they adopted 2 children, a daughter named Sandra and a son named Christopher. Scott, known for his rugged, stoic on-screen persona, was a devoted and loving father. His friends and colleagues often remarked on the warmth of his home life and the close bond he shared with his family. A peaceful life. Randolph Scott and Patricia Stillman's enduring marriage. Randolph and Patricia Scott's marriage remained one of Hollywood's most enduring success stories. The couple lived a quiet, serene life, away from the constant spotlight that often consumed celebrity marriages. They split their time between their home in Beverly Hills and a ranch near Santa Barbara, where Randolph could indulge his love of horses and the open countryside. Their domestic life was marked by stability and love, and their family became a central part of Scott's later years. Unlike many of his peers, Scott managed to maintain a stable marriage free from scandal or public drama. Their union lasted for over 4 decades until Scott's passing in 1987, and their family continued to be the cornerstone of his happiness in his later years. The rivalry with John Wayne. 2 icons, 1 clash. In Hollywood's golden age, 2 towering figures of the Western genre were Randolph Scott and John Wayne. Despite their similar stature in the genre, their relationship was far from friendly. Although both men were icons of rugged masculinity, their personalities and values were strikingly different. Scott, the quiet Southern gentleman, valued restraint and dignity, while Wayne embodied boisterous bravado and a larger-than-life persona. Scott once bluntly stated, "I never cared for the man," referring to Wayne. To Scott, Wayne's loud and theatrical style of acting was at odds with his own more subtle, restrained approach. While Wayne was a showman, Scott prided himself on being a craftsman, believing there was a difference between genuine artistry and manufactured heroism. The clash of personalities, professional rivalry, and artistic differences. The rivalry between Scott and Wayne went beyond their differences in acting style. Scott found Wayne's off-screen persona to be brash and politically outspoken, often dominating conversations with his conservative views. In contrast, Scott was reserved and believed that certain topics, such as politics and war, should not be glorified in Hollywood films. The two men's differing views on patriotism and war further fueled the rift between them. Scott, who had supported the war effort during World War II, could not respect Wayne for avoiding military service. Scott saw Wayne's portrayal of a fearless hero on screen as hypocritical, given his reluctance to serve in the real-life conflict, personal slights, and a deep resentment. The tensions between Scott and Wayne were further exacerbated by personal slights. On several occasions, Scott felt disrespected by Wayne's offhand comments about his acting style. Wayne once remarked that Scott was too pretty to play a real cowboy, an insult that Scott never forgot. He believed that true authenticity in acting came from quiet strength, not from loud performances. This tension was reflected in their social interactions, with Scott often leaving parties if Wayne arrived. Their mutual friends, including fellow actors Gary Cooper and Joel McCrea, were often caught in the middle of the feud. Despite their differences, both men played crucial roles in shaping the Western genre in their own distinct ways. A quiet end, Randolph Scott's legacy. Despite the animosity between them, Randolph Scott never publicly attacked John Wayne. His dislike for Wayne remained a private matter, only revealed in candid interviews later in life. Scott respected Wayne's success, but never respected the man himself. Their professional paths rarely crossed after the 1950s, and their silent feud became a part of Hollywood folklore. Randolph Scott's legacy, however, stands on its own. Known for his quiet dignity, moral complexity, and commitment to his craft, Scott left a lasting mark on the Western genre. His influence continues to be felt, and his roles remain a testament to the art of restrained heroism in a genre known for its larger-than-life characters.